Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really zeroing in on something important, a topic that hits home for anyone wanting stronger, more stable relationships, anxious attachment recovery.
Absolutely.
We're looking at a practical guide here, one designed to give, well, more than just comfort, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's aiming for a kind of scientific roadmap out of what can feel like years of struggle.
Yeah, exactly. If you've ever felt that intense pull towards someone, but at the same time, this paralyzing fear they might leave, well, this is for you.
That push-pull.
Yeah.
So this deep dive is really about finding a shortcut maybe to healthier patterns.
And if you recognize that feeling, you definitely know the strain anxious attachment can put on your life. It's that constant nagging worry about commitment,
Right.
or needing reassurance all the time and feeling like your own emotions, your reactions are actually pushing people away. It's exhausting.
Yeah, going in circles.
You crave connection deep down, but that fear of abandonment just makes trusting feel, well, almost impossible sometimes.
It's a tough spot, an exhausting paradox, really. The very things you do to feel secure can end up making things worse.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to pull out the science-backed strategies from this material, step-by-step stuff.
Right.
We want to extract that guidance you need to genuinely shift towards security, build fulfilling connections, even if this anxious pattern feels like it's been stuck to you for years.
And that's the key, isn't it? Transformation, not just, coping.
Exactly, not just managing symptoms.
We're talking about building a whole new emotional foundation. It's possible.
Okay, let's dive in. Section 1, Diagnosis and Core Insights. The material says it offers a clear, profound understanding of where this comes from and how it shows up. What are the first big takeaways?
Well, what's interesting is it goes beyond just listing symptoms, the overanalyzing, the panic attacks maybe. It offers these structural insights.
Structural, okay.
Yeah, and the major thing highlighted is what they call the 4 secrets of anxious attachment and how they affect your relationships. These apparently reveal the hidden mechanics.
The mechanics.
Okay, give us a hint. What's one of those secrets?
Okay, so one really powerful one is realizing that for someone with anxious attachment, the deep down craving isn't just for love, it's actually for certainty.
Certainty. Ah.
Yeah, a lot of anxious behavior comes from this desperate need to control the outcome, to get rid of any ambiguity in the relationship.
Wow.
And once you grasp that, you stop just chasing affection and start thinking about how to address that deeper need for predictability, for safety,
Yeah.
which, by the way, your partner can't always just give you on demand.
That distinction, certainty over just connection. Yeah, that's a big aha moment. It really reframes things.
Totally.
And speaking of things that don't work, the guide hits on that classic pitfall, needing constant validation.
Oh, yes. The reassurance trap. Why seeking constant reassurance can backfire and what to do instead. It's such a common cycle.
It really is.
Your instinct when you feel insecure is to look outside yourself. Ask your partner, do you still love me? Are you mad? Texting again and again?
Yep, been there or seen it. But that effort, even though it comes from a real place of fear, it puts a huge strain on things. And often, it just confirms that inner fear that maybe you are too much, too demanding.
The self-fulfilling prophecy, right. So the guide must offer something else because just saying stop worrying is, well, useless.
It does, thankfully. The alternative strategies focus on self-soothing and reality checking.
Reality checking.
Yeah, instead of immediately asking your partner for reassurance, you learn to pause and ask yourself, okay, wait, what actual evidence do I have that things are going wrong?
Less jumping to conclusions.
Exactly. The guide offers ways to replace that external seeking with internal validation, learning to generate that feeling of security within yourself. That's a huge breakthrough.
Okay, so if managing that impulse is key, we need tools, which leads us right into Section 2, the toolkit for behavioral change. What practical steps does this guide give to actually change these patterns?
Right, and this is where it gets really actionable, because attachment patterns are behavioral, right? They're learned habits.
Makes sense.
So the material details 11 powerful exercises to develop secure attachment patterns. It's not just theory, it's like a practical curriculum.
11 exercises.
Yeah.
Sounds like work.
It is work, but it's about building muscle memory, moving security from just an idea in your head into how you actually react, how you behave.
Okay. So beyond those specific exercises, there's this focus on managing emotional responses, not just reacting on impulse.
Yeah.
We know that impulsive reaction is the anxious behavior, right? That protest behavior they talk about.
Precisely. That anxious protest, whether it looks like clinging or maybe withdrawing angrily or even picking a fight, it's all aimed at getting connection back right now.
That urgency.
Yeah. So a crucial skill the guide talks about is something like, let's call it the 60-second rule.
Right.
When that emotional wave hits the panic, the anger, the fear, you learn to force a pause. A full minute. Maybe deep breathing, walk away, distract yourself somehow before you act on the impulse.
Create some space.
Exactly. That space is critical for stability. It lets you choose a secure response instead of just reacting.
That takes real inner strength, though, to pause like that, which I guess ties into managing that fear of being alone, right?
Absolutely. That's the first core strategy they focus on. Confidence-building techniques to overcome the fear of being alone.
Right.
Anxious attachment often comes with this deep belief that you just can't cope alone, or that being alone is fundamentally unsafe.
Yeah. Terrifying.
So if you can systematically build real confidence in your ability to handle life solo, the stakes in the relationship feel, well, less insanely high. You're not clinging just because you're afraid you'll fall apart without them.
That makes a huge difference.
Mhm.
Okay, and the second strategy. This one feels like the really tricky one for anxious folks. Setting limits. It feels like pushing people away.
You got it. Boundaries. The guide dedicates real energy to 5 techniques for setting healthy boundaries. And you're right, the challenge is huge. For someone anxiously attached, a boundary can feel like a direct threat to the connection itself.
Yeah, like you're risking everything by saying no.
Exactly. So the guide suggests starting small. Don't jump straight to huge emotional boundaries. Maybe start by protecting your time, like saying you need an hour undisturbed for work in the evening. Low stakes.
Practice in safe zones first.
Right. It's about getting comfortable with saying no, gently, respectfully, and seeing that the world doesn't end. Those boundaries stabilize things. They teach others how to treat you, but maybe more importantly, they teach you that you deserve respect and self-protection.
Yeah, and you can't really set those boundaries effectively if you don't feel worthy of them deep down, can you? Which I guess shifts the focus inward.
Perfectly put. Which brings us right to section 3, self-work, mindset, and therapeutic approaches. Because this recovery isn't just about how you act with others, it's deeply internal.
Right. The guide talks a lot about building self-esteem and resilience, especially when you're dealing with anxious attachment.
Resilience is so key because you will have setbacks. Things
Mhm.
won't always go perfectly. And if your entire sense of self-worth hangs on how stable your relationship feels right now, then even a small perceived slight can send you spiraling.
Yeah, that fragile feeling.
Mm-hmm. So the material really emphasizes the role of self-compassion. It's huge for healing and growth. Self-compassion is kind of the antidote to that harsh inner critic that just fuels the anxiety.
So instead of beating yourself up for feeling needy or anxious, you try to offer yourself the same kindness you'd give a friend who is struggling.
Exactly that, yeah. And this connects to the whole journey of self-discovery, really understanding your own emotional patterns.
Noticing your triggers.
Yes, mapping triggers, understanding the stories your anxiety tells you when those triggers get hit. And the strength here is how it blends different approaches. It's not just one theory.
Right.
It pulls in therapeutic stuff like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and EFT, emotionally focused therapy, plus what they call clinically proven new strategies. It's comprehensive.
Okay, so CBT makes sense here, challenging those catastrophic thoughts, right? But how does EFT fit in, especially if you're doing self-work? Isn't that usually for couples?
Good question. EFT is useful even solo because it helps you identify the emotional cycles, the dances that keep you stuck. Even by yourself, you can map out, okay, when I feel this need unmet, my go-to protest response is that.
Ah, recognizing your own pattern in the dance.
Exactly.
Mm.
Even if you're the only one dancing in that moment, you see the steps.
So for someone trying to apply this day to day, the really crucial skill seems to be learning to interpret things differently without immediately jumping to the worst case scenario. That's the CBT part in action.
That is the daily grind, the heavy lifting. Anxious attachment often involves what psychologists call cognitive distortion.
Right.
Your partner takes an hour to text back. Your brain doesn't just think, oh, they're busy. It leaps to, they're pulling away, they've found someone else, they're going to leave me.
The catastrophe cascade.
Yeah. So this section teaches you to actively pause that interpretation and then deliberately come up with, say, 3 other possible, more neutral explanations.
Force yourself to consider alternatives.
You have to consciously train yourself over and over to trust the calm, rational assessment more than the initial wave of emotion.
It's like intentionally rewiring how you see things. And that filter dictates your internal stability, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It means trusting your thinking brain over your immediate gut fear, which feels very counterintuitive at first.
Okay, let's look ahead. The long game. Section 4. Creating a secure base. What does all this work lead to? What's the ultimate goal here in terms of security?
Well, the ultimate aim is stability, inside and out. The guide talks about offering insights on creating a secure base for your relationships and yourself.
Yourself too, that's important.
Crucial. We have to emphasize that true, lasting security isn't just about finding the right person. It's about becoming a secure person yourself first.
So you build the base internally.
Yeah, that internal security is what actually attracts and, more importantly, sustains healthy, balanced relationships. Because you're no longer depending on your partner to regulate your entire nervous system for you.
So you move from needing someone else to validate you
Yeah.
to being able to validate yourself no matter what's happening externally.
That's the core shift. That knowledge, that capability is the real path to security. And, to really drive home that this change is genuinely possible.
Yeah.
The guide includes real-life transformation stories that offer hope and inspiration, which is powerful.
Oh, that's great. Those stories matter.
They really do, because when you're stuck in that anxious cycle, it can feel like this is just who you are permanently.
Totally. Like an identity, not a pattern.
Seeing proof that others have broken the pattern using these kinds of approaches, it provides real hope. These sources really confirm it's a pattern, and patterns can change, especially with a clear, multifaceted, science-backed approach.
Okay, well, we've certainly dug deep into this guide today. We've looked at that key difference, craving certainty versus just love, one of those 4 secrets. We explored the practical tools, like the 11 exercises, the 60-second pause, starting small with boundaries.
Right, the action steps.
And underpinning it all, that vital internal work, swapping the inner critic for self-compassion.
Yeah, this deep dive really shows that getting out of anxious attachment takes both practical tools and that deep, honest internal reflection. It's a journey.
Definitely.
But maybe here's a final thought, something provocative for you to take away and chew on. If we accept that attachment patterns are learned, and that the anxiety often comes more from our interpretation than objective reality,
Okay.
then think about this. What's one specific situation from your past that you really overanalyzed? A delayed text message, a canceled plan, something that sent you spinning.
I can think of examples.
Could you revisit that memory right now? Not to re-feel the pain, but try looking at it through this new lens, with objective, critical analysis and real self-compassion for how scared you felt then. What might you see differently? Because the true deep dive, the real work, it really begins when you decide you can trust the process of reinterpreting your own emotional history.